this is Brian for Home Field Advantage. Not much going on in the sports world today, but this story caught my eye. As we all know, LeBron James, after losing Game 6 in Orlando, instead of going with his teammates and congratulating the Orlando Magic, shaking their hands, saying good luck, whatever they tend to do after the games, he stormed off to the locker room, got his stuff, and then stormed off to the airport to go back to Cleveland. And of course, we've been catching crap about it. And I've read stories upon stories upon stories about it. And I agree. But this story on Yahoo that was on the front page by Adrian Wojnarowski has an interesting take on it. I'm going to put the link in the sidebar, put it on the video. You guys can read it for yourself. I'm just going to make a few points in case, because I know there's a lot of you that don't like to read the articles. Probably why you come on YouTube and watch guys like me talk about sports. Basically, he says that LeBron James has basically said, he's a winner, he's great, but when he lost to Orlando, he didn't acknowledge that they had beat them. He just stormed, like I said, he stormed off into the locker room. But if you look back at this playoffs, I'm pretty sure he stayed on the court for the Detroit Pistons to congratulate him, and then the next round, the Atlanta Hawks to congratulate him when the Cleveland Cavaliers swept both of those teams. He wants everybody to bow down and kiss his ring. That's right, he doesn't have a ring. And LeBron James says, oh, well, I'm not being a poor sport. That's the definition of a sore loser. You can't, if you lose and you can't go over to the other team and say, congratulations, you played a great game, played a great series, you're a sore loser. You're not a good sport. And this is my favorite part of the whole article. And I'll quote it for you. Here's the question. Who has the guts to tell him that he sounds like an immature, self-absorbed brat? Here's the problem for the Cavaliers and James. No one. And that's right. No one's going to tell it to his face, because he'll just probably end up throwing another fit. Honestly, if the NBA or the Cleveland Cavaliers organization would hire me to, I'd tell it to his face. Because obviously, from my past videos, I don't have that much respect for him to begin with. I wouldn't say it's disrespect. Most of my lack of respect for him isn't all his fault. It's the fact that he's being put up on this pedestal that no one should be put up on. I'm sure you guys know. At the beginning of the year, they basically crowned LeBron James as the NBA champion. They said, oh, just go ahead and give it to him. He could have sat out the whole year with an injury, and they would say, oh, give him another championship because he's just so great. Are you kidding me? And the thing is that kind of boggles my mind is that he made that great shot in Game 2 to win the game, right? And he said something to the effect of, I had to pull out a shot from my Michael Jordan bag or something. And of course everyone's comparing him to Michael Jordan. But there's two things that set Michael Jordan and LeBron James apart the most. Not the only two things, but for this situation, there's two things. One, Michael Jordan has 6 rings. LeBron James has 0. Number 2, if you guys remember, the Detroit Pistons beat the Chicago Bulls 3 straight years in a row. Knocked them out of the playoffs. Did Michael Jordan storm off to the locker room and get on a plane back to Chicago or wherever they were going at the time? No. He went out and shook everyone's hand and told them great job. He wasn't playing no childish bullcrap like LeBron is. But someone needs to tell LeBron how he's acting. Someone needs to bring him back down to the ground and tell him, look, you're not the greatest of all time. And you won't be if you keep acting like this. And I also like this quote, and I'll go ahead and read it. All season, the Cavaliers acted too entitled, too arrogant for a team that's won nothing. They ran out demanding that Mo Williams be made an All-Star when the truth bore itself out in the playoffs. Cleveland has one All-Star. Nevertheless, Williams still embarrassed the Cavs with foolish proclamations and guarantees his middling talent couldn't deliver. And then, of course, it goes on to say, basically explain that, the owner, the general manager, they're not going to tell him that what he's doing is stupid. Let's face it, if ESPN and the general public bows down to King James, what makes you think his team and the general manager and the owner, what makes you think they're going to do anything different? And one last thing in this article that I just loved is a jab at the Kobe and LeBron puppet commercials. It says, in a world where everyone in his life is too fearful or too dependent, LeBron James goes into the summer believing his own nonsense, that he walked out of the season a winner. As usual, there's no one to tell him. Except maybe now, Kobe's puppet. I'd love to see that commercial. It's not going to happen, though. Like I said, the whole world has a man crush on LeBron, and he hasn't done a damn thing. They've had a man crush on him since day one. When the Cleveland Cavaliers won the NBA draft lottery with the #1 overall pick, the year that LeBron James declared himself for the NBA, that's when every single person in the NBA fandom, I'll say, ESPN, that's when ESPN and the fans just gobbled him up and said, hey, he deserves everything. Give him everything. No. And after he acts that way, he doesn't deserve anything. Alright guys, I'm done with that rant. NBA playoff starts Thursday. It's so freaking far away. There's like nothing on television. I fully expect to get comments saying that he has a right to... He doesn't have to shake the other team's hands. Well, you know what? It's not required. But it shows maturity. No one likes to lose, but if you can lose gracefully, then you're still a winner. I mean, that sounds cheesy, but in all aspects it's true. Because if he had went and shook the hands and done that, we wouldn't be talking about him right now. I wouldn't be disrespecting him right now. If he just simply gone over, shook their hands, said congratulations, good luck against the Lakers, and then, walked back with his team. But he didn't do that. It's because he's a spoiled brat. He's been given everything he's asked for the past 6 years. Alright guys. Later.
Go on and just baby, go on and just
the damage is done, so I guess I'll be